I was petrified in a horrified stupor. As my ship sailed towards an endless horizon of magenta, I began to accept the infinity that lied in front of me. All that held me back was the things behind me. But before cementing my fate forward, I had to be released from the anchor in my mouth. The phrase was holding me back. This is the season finale of the Cowboy Rivers Hour of Effort. Folks, you are listening to KCOU 88.1, and because it is such a lovely hour, it is the Cowboy Rivers Hour of Effort, everybody. And it's a very special show tonight because it is the season finale until I return this fall. So this is the last show of the spring, everybody. But hey, don't worry about any lack of Cowboy Rivers, because this show tonight is going to be quite the season finale. And I must assure you, do not fear for the lack of Cowboy Rivers, because I will return. In the words of Sid Vicious, it'll all be okay, honey. It'll all be okay. Now, folks, before this summer departure, like I said, we got a great show. And during the show, I actually want to catch you up on some of the things I plan on doing during the summer, just because I figure I don't want all my listeners to worry about what I will be doing. I want the listeners to be enjoying their summer, not worrying about Cowboy Rivers and his well-being. So let me fill you in on some of the things I plan on doing. Starting with May, right after finals end, I'm going to be taking to the skies, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to be finally forging my pilot's license. I've been putting this off for such a long time, but I'm going to get it done. I'm going to go in the air, and I'm actually going to avenge my great-great-great-great-great-grandson. Yes, he actually died 200 years in the future in Earth's battle against the Saturnians and the Neptunus aliens. Believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, there is an alien war 200 years in the future. That's pretty awesome, but unfortunately, one of the casualties is my great-great-great-great-great-grandson. And because the love in Cowboy Rivers' family is eternal, it transcends time, and I'm going to be able to fight those aliens and save my great-great-great-great-great-grandson. How about that? But folks, in June, I am actually going to be reuniting with my Chilean ice skating team. I'm going to be heading down to South America, and I'm going to be joining my good old figure skating team, the Cowboy Chillers, and we're going to have just a really great, solid time doing what we got to do. We're going to be having fun skating because, fun fact, summer is actually winter in South America. I know, it's crazy. In July, though, I'm going to be celebrating America Day by doing my old classic tradition, which is heading all the way across the river over to England, and I'm going to be mooning 10 Downing Street for about 12 hours of the day. In your faces, Great Britain. I mean, we do love each other, but you can only keep a dog on his leash for so long. In August, though, is when I finally start to give back, and that's when I decide to let my philanthropy side pour out onto all of my peers and the society that I live in. So in August, I'm actually going to be building glass birdhouses for several children's charities. See, with glass birdhouses, you can actually see through them and see the birds living in a little nest that they made in a glass birdhouse, and it's actually really awesome. Kids are really going to enjoy it, and it's kind of interactive in a way. But hopefully, we actually fix the heat magnification effect that kind of made last year's glass birdhouses a little bit dangerous, a little not as cute, if you know what I'm saying. But hey, after that, I will return to late night radio, and the Cowboy Rivers Hour of Effort is going to be back, and it's going to be strong. I am so excited, everybody. But until then, you know what I'm going to be doing over the summer, but what are all of you going to be doing? Why don't you guys write into the KCOU studio? Go ahead and write down all the things you plan on doing over the summer, and then just put that in an envelope and tape a dead spider to the outside of the envelope, and it'll actually just put it in the mailbox. Don't worry about postage, don't worry about stamps, don't worry about the address. As long as you tape a dead spider to the outside of the envelope, the mailman will know what to do. Now, folks, We got a pretty great show tonight. Kind of already started, but I wasn't archiving this recording yet. So we're going to get back to the music, folks. You're listening to KCOU 88.1. All right, folks. This is the Cowboy Rivers Hour of Effort, and you're listening to KCOU 88.1. Now, folks, I am very excited about this show tonight, despite the fact that almost every single element around me is working against me. See, it's raining in Columbia, so I had to walk through the cold rain to get to the studio, and before I left my little humble abode, I actually got a Charlie horse and I can barely move my right leg. But I did trudge my way through the wet rain with a limp, looking like Kaiser fucking Soze at the end of The Usual Suspects, looking like such an asshole. Anyway, whatever. I'm also running on about 4 hours of sleep in the past 40 hours. And this isn't a lie, all right? This is Cowboy Real right now, okay? Cowboy Real. Cowboy Rivers is Cowboy Real. Let's keep on going. I'm losing my train of thought. I'm losing it. Folks, you're listening to KCOU, where you can turn it off. Now, we are going to start a new little segment special to this season finale show, and that segment is something that really can just basically be described as Mixology 101, baby. Hell yeah. Folks, finals are almost here for some of us, and actually, they're even here for some of us, so I'm fucking wrong again. Anyway, finals are here, and they are a great time to have a coping mechanism on the ready. Once you see those grades, you're like, ooh, maybe not. Maybe I better not. So, folks, Cowboy Rivers is going to share some of his own personal favorite alcoholic sweets, aka fun poisons. Now, folks, before we get into this segment, I must say that KCOU is not at all affiliated with the Hour of Effort, except for the fact that it hosts it. But the opinions and views of Cowboy Rivers and his Hour of Effort are completely his, not reflective of KCOU at all. And I also must reiterate that the Hour of Effort does not encourage underage sour pussing. Fucking get real, folks. This is college. This is life. Have a fun, damn it. If you want to. Anyway, first drink that I want to describe to you. It's something I call the Crew Sock Twist. Now check this out. What you're gonna want to do. You start with a standard mimosa, but you do it in a big glass, all right? So you got 2 parts of OJ and 3 parts of bubbly champagne. You put that in a big cup, all right? Not one of those small, skinny-ass wine glasses, okay? This is a fucking real drink, and you should enjoy as much of it as you want. I'm talking about Crew Sock Twist, all right? Anyway, once you got your big mimosa for big boys or big girls, we don't want to choose, or we don't want to be, gender bias here on the Hour of Effort. But anyway, once you got your big old cup, big old mimosa, what you're going to want to do is take a spiraled orange peel, just the orange peel, but it has to be in a spiral. It has to all be in one piece still. What you want to do with that is dip it into liquid nitrogen for 6 minutes. And then after 6 minutes, you're going to want to pull out the spiral, sprinkle on some salt, and you'll place it in the drink. That way, it keeps your drink cool, but it also allows it to be sweet and kickin'. It is such an awesome drink, folks. The Crew Sock Twist. I cannot recommend it enough. But I can recommend another one even more. And that, folks, is a drink called 2001, A Drink Odyssey. Now check this out, and it's a bit of a doozy, so stick with me. What you want to do for a 2001 is start with a Fitz's root beer, and then you're going to want to add a shot of absinthe and a shot of moonshine. Now that is 2 shots, folks. 1 of absinthe and 1 of moonshine. After you add the shots, you are going to set the glass under UV light for 2 hours and 29 minutes exactly. Once that time is up, you just take a basic 24 pack of colored crayons, and you're going to want to melt them with a hairdryer. Now that you have a puddle of melted crayon wax, place the glass into the puddle. That way, now you have kind of a little colorful coaster almost for your glass. It's genius. But we're not done yet. Now you're going to want to take that glass and that puddle that is now hardened. You're going to want to take that drink, go to 16th and Broadway. Right there, you will meet a woman named Christy Caines, okay? Now, Christy Caines, she's a good confidant of mine. You're going to want to give the drink to her, and if you've done everything right up to this point, she will give you a free Blu-ray copy of 2001: A Space Odyssey. After you have your copy of 2001: A Space Odyssey on Blu-ray, just go home, smoke some Kush, and enjoy the show. That's 2001: A Drink's Odyssey. Now, that's one of my favorites, but the absolute favorite, a lot of people have asked Cowboy Rivers about this, absolute favorite would have to be the CBR Signature. Now, this is a drink that is the most true to me. This is liquid empathy. This is liquid understanding of Cowboy Rivers. What you want to do for this drink, and you can only do it if you're ready, so don't feel pressured. But if you want to understand Cowboy Rivers, try the CBR Signature. Anyway, take some Arnold Palmer and mix that with blueberry vodka. Immediately after you mix it, add rainbow sprinkles. Otherwise, the whole drink will curdle. I have no idea how, but it does. Anyway, next you place the glass on a hot plate and place 2 earbuds inside of the drink that are playing any old Hour of Effort broadcast. Now, you guys know where you can find those, so just make sure it's playing that. After the broadcast is over, remove the earbuds and then add 2 cherries and those ice cubes from Sonic. Add those to the drink and serve with a Snapdragon garnish. But before you drink it, you're going to want to rub some ground up antacids to the lip of the glass, and there you go. A glass of me, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, that's pretty much how much closer can you get to Cowboy Rivers? You can't unless you're me, unfortunately or fortunately. Again, I don't want to put words into your mouth or thoughts into your head. But speaking of thoughts into your head, let's get back to some kick-ass music, everybody. You're listening to KCOU 88.1.
One thing I want to assure them, if they think I'm going to change or compromise.
Okay, folks. That was Morning World by Teen Days, and you are listening to KCOU 88.1 and the Cowboy Rivers Hour of Effort, because one cannot exist without the other, and the other exists without the other all the time. Now, folks, if you've been listening at all to the Hour of Effort this season, you will know that I have been giving audiences a peek into my life through my autobiography that I've been doing segments of. And I figured that because tonight is the spring finale and I won't be back until sometime after summer, I figured I would treat all the listeners tonight and I would get you guys to where the biography finally ends and catches up to the present. I'm not dead, obviously, as much as I wish I was sometimes. God, I'm just so tired. Anyway, folks, due to time constraints, I do have to skip some of my autobiography. So about 31 chapters, it looks like. But don't worry, if you want the ebook, feel free to go on to Amazon Prime and just download that or whatever. Or don't, because it doesn't exist. Anyway, you can contact my agent. They'll tell you what to do. Now, I'll just start with what kind of feels natural. Some of this might be a little confusing because there's a lot that I'm skipping over, but this is probably the best place to start because it does catch up to pretty much the end. So, anyway, back to the biography of Cowboy Rivers. It was day 8 of my torture in the dungeons of Iceland. The DIV organization knew that they almost had my spirit broken. All right? There was a lot kind of working against me, all right? So finally, on day 8, this was the big one. The pain of my newly installed robotic spine that they had implanted into me to provide me with electric shocks. It just destroyed me so much, and I was finally bested on day 8. So I muttered with my last breath of lucidity the safe word, Lunchables. I said it, and I just didn't even know what happened next. Next thing I knew, which, again, this was all in a daze. I was so out of it. None of it even felt real. But the staff had dragged me to the dungeon keeper, who had finally demanded that he see me. I feared death by his will. I only knew what the legends had said, and really, I did not want to face him, but I was thrown into the center of the ballroom where the skeleton's dagger was stabbed into the floor. I didn't even think it had existed before then. But it was now or never. With my burnt fingers, I gripped the marrowy handle, and I fought gravity with all my might until I held the dagger high above my head. Tears filled my eyes as I cried. I just cried out. I didn't even think it was possible. I didn't even think it was real. And there I was, fulfilling the prophecy. I had lifted the skeleton dagger. And everyone knew it. I knew it, but more importantly, the dungeon keeper, he knew it. He stepped forward and he released a familiar voice. It startled me, but it soothed me even more. He said, "You passed." And I still get shivers just thinking about it. But during the moment, I thought, it can't be. Because I knew what that voice was, finally, at that moment. I fell to my knees as the keeper removed his hood. It was too much to handle. For the dungeon keeper, the man in the hood, the one I had feared, it was Carrick Vave. And in a way, I almost knew that it was always going to be him. All the signs had pointed to it if you look at the other 31 chapters that I had to skip over. And in knowing that it was him, I knew what he would say next. It was as if my whole life had led to it. Really, fate, destiny, it had all existed. It had brought me here. It really had. So, Carrick, he gave me that signature smirk that nurtured me into manhood still. I still think about it sometimes. The question he asked was something that would change my life forever. He asked, "What do you know about late night radio in mid-Missouri?" And really, the rest is the present, and the present is history. Folks, that is how Cowboy Rivers and the Hour of Effort have come to be. Thanks to Carrick Vave, thanks to a lifetime of adventure, thanks to struggle, and thanks, most importantly, to myself. Oh, wow. I'm really glad I finally got to share that with the audience, even though I had to skip about, a good 85% of it. Now, folks, we are going to get back to the music because although this is the season finale and all the music sounds like shit because I don't have the ability to choose it because the auxiliary cord is broken, I am still happy to be here. I will grit through my teeth as my leg is still hurting. Just listen to some music, damn it. KCOU, whatever. Bullshit. Hey. You are listening to KCOU 88.1, and this has been the Cowboy Rivers Hour of Effort. But unfortunately, I have on my clock 3:03 and 5 seconds. So, folks, this season finale must come to a close, and with it, the season. Now, everybody, I've had such a great time, and I mean that genuinely. This has always been just such a thing I always look forward to doing. getting to do this every single week, except not every single week. I only did about 5-6 shows this semester, 5 the previous. But in general, I believe there has been room for improvement, and now there is less room for improvement, but there is still some. That's something that I personally believe, that you should always try to strive for something to go for, something to kind of keep in the distance, in the horizon. And for me, that is going to be next season of the Cowboy Rivers Hour of Effort. Folks, it's been great, but I will be back. Unfortunately, not soon, but eventually. And with eventually, I'm going to leave you with one of my favorites from Tame Impala. It also just so happens to be titled Eventually. Guys, this has been great. I'm Cowboy Rivers, and this is KCOU 88.1. Kill it.